Welcome to another edition of Wildcat Weekly with head coach Sean Miller. Cats in the Bay Area this week. They'll take on the Cal Bears on Thursday night, Stanford Cardinal on Saturday night before returning home to face the Oregon schools. Coach, you had a good road trip up to Washington, won both ball games, but here's the basic question. What does it take to win on the road? What are the key ingredients?
Well, I think number one, Brian, is, all of us are different in terms of styles, but whatever you do well as a team, it can't be feast or famine. So when you're playing at home, you're comfortable and, you do those things really, really well. But yet when you go on the road, for whatever reason, you play differently. I think for all of us, what we have to be is who we are. And if you look at our basketball team this year, our number one strength is our ability to play offense without turning it over. So when we've done that, we have been the best version of ourselves. At Arizona State, the 18 turnovers was something that was uncharacteristic, but it cost us dearly. You look at our last road trip, what is it that we did well in both games? We really took care of the ball, and it helped us tremendously. So I'd say for us, taking care of the ball, that's something that's really important. And number two is just our rebounding. It's something we're improving. And when we've kept those teams away from getting second shots, you think about it, you work so hard to make the team miss. When they miss, you want to get the ball. And our rebounding, it fuels our best offense, which is our transition. So being able to out-rebound the opponent, being able to keep them off the offensive glass, I think that's number two. And then, our defense, it has to travel. You have to play on the road without your crowd. You have to play without fouling. You have to be solid with your communication because really you only have each other. And I'd say for us, that's what we talk a lot about. Usually when we play well on the road, we check the box in those areas.
Right, you played a UCLA team that slowed the tempo down. What type of tempo do the Cal Bears want to play on Thursday?
Even slower than UCLA. And I don't mean that in a negative sense, but they're very, very deliberate. They're trying to use the clock to their advantage, time of possession, trying to get great shots, and they really run smart, really good offense. And then defensively, that keeps you out of transition. It forces you to be careful taking quick shots, and I think plays maybe to where their team is right now. So we have to adjust. I think there couldn't be a better learning experience for us than the UCLA game, to go there with the understanding that other teams play different styles, and over a long course of a season, we have to be able to adapt and adjust to those different styles. And on Thursday, we're going to play against a slower tempo. On Saturday, we're going to play against a tempo that's more like ours.
California's not a prolific three-point shooting team, but they have an outstanding player in Matt Bradley. Where does he like to get his shots?
Well, he could score both inside and out. Physically, he's a strong wing player. He uses his size to his advantage. And, Mark Fox is one of several first-year coaches in the Pac-12 that is doing just an outstanding job. They have 10 wins at home. They're 4-1 at Haas Pavilion. We're 4-1 at McHale Center. They have the same home record in conference as we do. They haven't played nearly as well on the road. And it reminds me a lot of the challenge of Washington State with C.J. Ellerby. If you think back to our win at Washington State, we did a really good job defending him. He might not have had his best night, but we had a lot to do with that. He left our game and became the Pac-12 Player of the Week and had 35 points against Washington on Sunday. I look at Matt Bradley as very similar to Cal's success. When he plays well, when he has the big night, which he's been the Pac-12 Player of the Week award winner, that's when they're at their best. We have to do a really good job of defending it.
You mentioned earlier this week that you want your team to take smart shots. And maybe you could go into more detail on that. It doesn't mean don't take quick shots. I know you want them to take their best shots, but describe for us maybe what you see as a smart shot.
Well, I think a quick shot, it has to be one that's easily understood. If it's a three, it has to be taken by one of our team's best three-point shooters. You have to look at it as one that's wide open. There's nobody there. Because a miss triggers the other team's ability to push it. A quick shot a lot of times doesn't allow you to have the best rebounding position, the best balance in getting back. But that doesn't mean we don't want quick shots. Sometimes the best available shots are the ones where we beat the other team down the floor. But for the most part, when the ball's thrown into the low post, when it's driven into the lane, when we hit on a pick and roll, when we hit the roller, and regardless of whether they shoot it or the ball comes back out, that's usually the highest percentage shots we can get. Sometimes that's a guard like Nico driving the ball to the basket. Sometimes that's finding Zeke in the low post and allowing him to take his time. But we want to have that word paint, where the ball hits those areas as much as possible. And I think we've shown over the 20-some games that we've played is when we've played offense like that, that's when we've been at our best.
Very good. Cats and the Bears Thursday night, Cardinal on Saturday night. Both games tip off at 8:30 Mountain Time. And then the following week, the Wildcats are home to Oregon State on a Thursday night at 6. And a reminder, on February 22nd, the Oregon game will now tip off at 7 p.m. And we'll see you next time on Wildcat Weekly.